Recording, recording. Am I recording? Yes, I am. Wonderful. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, hold on. Yeah, let's start from the first slide. Okay. Dean the Artist Let's Plays. What to play next? Katawa Shoujo is finished. I'll start from the second point then. So, Katawa Shoujo is a very, well, yeah, Katawa Shoujo is a very special game to me. Again, it's close to my heart, and in a way, it's kind of affected how I see things. And when I played it back, well, yeah, when I played it back in middle school, um, I didn't really get some of the things they were going on about. But as I've gotten older, I now realize certain things they were talking about. So, anyways, so I completed Katawa Shoujo last night, and I was pretty emotional over it, and I I finished the Let's Play. I do have all the videos uploaded onto my YouTube, and am I should probably get them up onto Rubble soon. But yeah. So yeah, Katawa Shoujo is probably one of the best visual novels of all time. I think it's definitely the best dating sim of all time because it doesn't treat its characters like its characters are well written. That's what I'll say. And to tell you the truth, I don't even see the girls with the routes like Lily, Emi, Hanako, Rin, Shizune. I don't really see them as waifus because they're too well written to be considered waifus, and that's a compliment because these feel like real feasible people with real feasible emotions, and yeah. So my ranking of the routes, I'm gonna go from bottom to up. So Shizune. Uh, to tell you the truth, I did like Shizune's route better than I thought it would. I thought I would because from what I remember, to me it was the most boring route from when I originally played. And yeah, honestly, now that I've replayed it, I now realize that oh yeah, the route isn't that boring. I don't know, but yeah. Anyways, there's only one choice in the entire route, like before Act One. I mean, not before Act One, after Act One, and that's the Comfort Misha. And I feel that was a bit misleading because, cheating on your girlfriend is not the same as comforting someone. So, what was the deal with that? Uh, yep. And I feel like there's some potential lost in Shizune's route because again, we were told allegedly there were meetings with class representatives. We didn't see that, and yeah. Anyways, yeah, Shizune is still like these are all good girls. That's the thing. They're all very good characters, right? It's just I think Shizune's route is the worst of them, and it's also the yeah, it's also the route with like the least choices, at least after Act One. Before Act One, uh, legitimately, I do think it was a good idea to have multiple scenes leading to one route because um I looking at the flow chart, I don't think any of them were like that before. So I mean that's pretty cool that you know changes she's his route. Okay. Rin. I think Rin's route has it's still a good route. All these are good routes, but like the lowest Katawa Shoujo route beats easily the best out of a bunch of other dating sims. So Rin's route. All right. What do I say about Rin's route? I really did like Nomiya as an antagonistic force. Like, I feel it's realistic, and he is someone that I have seen in other people, in real people, if that makes any sense. So, yeah. Plus, like, Rin's struggle to, like, trying to be creative and stuff is really relates to me, and things. things like that, and of course, being autistic as well. So yeah, I just can't see myself being with a girl like Ren or Shizune. But yeah, and that's why it's so low. Rin also has the opposite problem of Shizune's route in the sense that there's too many choices, which if there was a bunch of choices and they all led to like a bunch of different outcomes, I wouldn't have minded. However, the problem is with Rin's route is that a lot of the choices don't actually matter. They just affect like one or two dialogue options later on. And I really don't feel that's enough reason to have that many choices on Rin's route. I believe Rin's route has the most choices while you're in after Act 1. So, yeah. Well, otherwise, yeah, Rin's is a pretty good route. Hanako, all right, the thing I've already stated what I thought about Hanako's route at the end of uh actually I don't think that video is available yet. But Hanako's route, what I feel is that it tells you not to white knight. And I feel like that's a good lesson, especially for like younger guys to learn because well frankly, being an overbearing white knight is never a good thing, honestly. And I wish other people would have taught me that before, you know, uh, I know now, but like, let's say before I was in middle school, and yeah, I mean, it's good and all to be nice to people, to be kind to people. However, there's a chance where you become too overbearing, and that causes it to explode in its face. That's why I like the Hanako route because if you like the difference between the road to get the bad ending versus the road to get the neutral and good endings is basically you just go back to your dorms and just do nothing, and then like it's more out of like, oh yeah, well, what, well I don't want to do anything that would be too much for her. If it's too much for her, she'll tell you, right? You have to have faith in other people. Be like, hey, I think I need to stop. So yeah, um because like trusting on your own instincts, like for example, the neutral route, it's trusting yourself other than Lily. Trusting your own self can also be a detriment because if you do everything you want to do sometimes, right? If you do everything that 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 your body or your mind is telling you, it often can lead to a bad outcome that I've found from my own life. So yeah, that's why I like Hanako route because I believe the themes in the route appeal to myself, and several young men can learn from that. So yeah. Emmy. Okay, Emmy's route. Um, I believe it's the route that the vast majority of people get in their first playthrough. Um, well, because like you have this heart condition, his out. You got to go exercise, and the vast majority of people, I would imagine, they would be like, okay, let's exercise. So that's why I think Emmy is by far the route that is played first for any Katawa Shoujo playthrough. So yeah, that I haven't seen any polls or anything like that, but I have a distinct feeling about that because the one playthrough that I've seen of Katawa Shoujo, uh, from Voices of the Dark, he got Emmy's route first as well. So yeah, and Emmy's route is pretty solid. It has to do with death. I really liked that instead of like going after her and like like yeah, you have the option to just leave her alone and just let her settle herself out because oftentimes that is the best thing you can do because people often get into their own heads and things like that. So I really like that. Um, Again, Emmy is just a generally sweet character. I could imagine myself with Emmy. So yeah. All right. So Emmy is my second favorite route, and the first route, the very first route, the very best route in my opinion, is the Lily route. And the reason that is because one, I feel like Lily and Izao are the best match for each other. Two, I believe it has easily the best outcome for the majority of characters, right? So you have Hanako, for example. Hanako has a better outcome in Lily's route than she does in her own route, right? She's making friends, she's traveling, she's enjoying her life. Awesome, right? Lily and Shizune, their entire squabble gets resolved at the end of the route, regardless if you get the neutral or good ending, right? And the simple fact that there isn't a bad ending, I think shows you just how compatible Lily and Hizao are. And yeah. I also really like the theme of like, oh yeah, tell her the truth because, like all relationships are made up of communication and like, you wouldn't want to like talk to someone that is hiding stuff from you, regardless if they're doing it for not bad intentions. So I feel like it's a good theme for people to learn. Like you can't exactly fault other people from like hiding stuff from you, but at the very least you could try to be honest with other people and yourself. And I feel like that's a good theme. And frankly, Lily's route is also the only route with an epilogue after the good ending. So yeah, it's if you were to put a gun to my head and make the only canon route for Katawa Shoujo, I think would be Lily's route, like hands down. Yeah. Also, like, uh, again, like both Lily and Emmy's route have Hazao going into a particular field, along with Shizune's route. But like, I'm more into the science, like getting into science aspect than the teaching aspect. So honestly, I feel like Lily's is the combination of the outcomes of both the Hazao and Emmy's route and the Hazao and Shizune's route, except for like the heart improving. So basically, since Hizao is going to become a science teacher in Lily's route, in Emmy's route, he's just going to become a scientist. We don't exactly know which type of scientist. And Shizune's route, it says he's going to become a teacher, although we don't know which type of teacher. So, yeah. I'm trying to think of what else to say. Honestly, Katawa Shoujo is one of the best visual novels I've played. Right? It gets me emotional. It gets me, really attached to the characters, and it's genuinely a great game. So, all right. I completed Katawa Shoujo as the first Let's Play on this channel, as well as the first Let's Play I finished ever. Now, what do I mean by this? So, as it turns out, I have a good chunk of failed Let's Plays, and so I have this list here. Additional attempts at Let's Plays include Skyrim, specifically a modded Skyrim, Digimon, as in like Digimon Cyber Sleuth, Digimon Survive, etc. And there was another Katawa Shoujo playthrough that I didn't even reach a route on that one. So, all on different channels. So basically, I'm not going to link them. Those playthroughs are long gone. Those are like privated and deleted and stuff. So, don't bother trying to find them because I thought they sucked. And anyways, why I've stopped doing my previous Let's Plays and completed this one, and in the parentheses, no thumbnails and very little editing. So, basically, I used to do thumbnails and editing. However, due to my life being other things than making Let's Plays or doing YouTube or doing all this other stuff, um, you know, I've had very little time, right? So basically, I would spend hours, let's make some thumbnails, let's try to edit these videos down to keep them interesting. But one thing I realized is that the editing part and the thumbnail making, one thing that what that would do is that would make me burn out faster than just playing the games, right? So I decided for this channel, right, now that I have time to myself and things like that, that I would not do any thumbnails and do very little editing, as in the only editing I would do would be to either censor stuff or to yeah, pretty much just to censor stuff. And considering I did not know that the Steam version was censored until I actually until I actually played Emmy's route. I was all ready to just cut out bits of the game. So yeah, so that's my philosophy for this channel. It's no thumbnails, very little editing, because frankly I just can't be bothered, and honestly I just want to be more chill. I'm not going to be a mainstream YouTuber. I don't want any YouTube money. This is just for myself. so so which is going to be ironic considering my inspirations list. So my inspirations of YouTubers that I would used to watch. There's Nikobe. He's pretty cool. He does like a lot of voices and stuff. He's pretty awesome. Johnny Awesome as well. Like honestly, he doesn't do Let's Plays anymore, but like from what I remember of his Let's Plays, they were pretty good. Sir Lionheart. To tell the truth, I've only watched his Fire Emblem, his Ninokuni, and trying to think. I've only watched like a few of his Let's Plays. However, I feel like he had some pretty good commentary, and frankly, I just liked his personality, so that's why he's on here. Voices from the Dark. Now, Voices from the Dark, again, was the guy I originally watched. Uh, he's the Let's Play I watched for Katawa Shoujo, and unfortunately, either his Katawa Shoujo playlist got either deleted or privated, and I'm not exactly sure why, but like Voices from the Dark is a pretty big inspiration because uh frankly, I thought, maybe I should try doing like modded Skyrim. Maybe I should try Katawa Shoujo because like I felt as if, right? I felt as if his content was pretty cool. So yeah. So Maryland. Maryland was a very old Pokemon YouTuber that I used to watch when I was a kid. And I would watch his Nuzlocks and yeah, I would watch his Nuzlocke over and over again. Um specifically the Emerald Nuzlocke. What was it? The Heart Gold Wedlock. And yeah, there was also the Black and White Wedlock, I think. And I forgot a lot of the playthroughs, but like I grew up watching Maryland, so yeah. And Lost Pause, Lost Pause no longer does Let's Plays. I don't know what he's doing now, but I think he makes meme videos. But he was a anime YouTuber that did play a lot of visual novels in the past, and like when I was a teenager, I got really really into anime girls. Anyways, so yeah, like Lost Pause is an inspiration for that aspect. Also, he played several games that I intend to play through as well. So there's that. So yeah. So these are just inspirations. However, I will not be editing like these people because, frankly, I feel like editing takes too much time away from me, especially if I were to make very good edits. Also, shout out to Senpai Blade and Pluvius Lilon because the Senpai Blade plays a lot of games I like, and his videos are well edited and stuff. It's just I'm not interested in Nike. I'm sorry, Senpai Blade, but Pluvius Lilon is a frog VTuber, and basically she I'm pretty sure they're like, yeah, whatever they are is a I don't mean disrespect, but they play a lot of games that are very niche, and I have respect for that because I intend to play a bunch of niche games too. So yeah, um, yeah. Anyways, so this is the first Katawa Shoujo is the first Let's Play I finished ever, which is excellent. I love the game. So now let's see what I'm going to be doing next. Current plans. Now I've said this at the finale of the last Katawa Shoujo video, whether Whether that's out by the time I upload this, who knows? But we'll see. So, Chaos Head Noah. And in the parentheses, I put first blind playthrough, eventually leading to Steins Gate and the rest of the Science Adventure series. So, uh, first off, I know nothing about this game. I know nothing about this game. And basically, basically, Chaos Head Noah is a Chaos Head Noah is actually the first entry in a series called the Science Adventure series, which contains Steins Gate. It contains, I think, robotics notes. It contains like a chunk, like it contains a good chunk of games, and it's gonna take me a while to get through the entire Science Adventure, but I think it's gonna be interesting, especially if Steins Gate is in there. So yeah, Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, October/Halloween game. So again, Doki Doki Literature Club is another game that is close to my heart, and also, it is a spooky, scary game. So I intend to play it for like October again slash Halloween, for the spooky season. And since it really isn't that long, right? Like it is not going to reach the levels that Katawa, the amount of uploads Katawa Shoujo hit. So yeah, so yeah. And the reason I'm doing Doki Doki Literature Club Plus is so I could get the side stories, so I could get all of the CGs and stuff like that. And and not only that, it actually has a percentage in the game. So right, you could check your options, and there's like completion, and then you can see, oh, 100%, wonderful. So that's why I'm going to be playing Literature Club Plus, like DDLC Plus, rather than the original game, because again, I think it would be easier for me to record that rather than, like go constantly looking through the files of the regular Doki Doki Literature Club, and yeah, and to tell you the truth, I do have some sensitive information on my computer, and I don't want to accidentally open that up. Right? I have like tax documents and stuff like that. I do not want you guys to see that. I'm sorry, I don't feel like doxing myself. So, Near Automata. I don't actually have a plan for this, just at some point, maybe next summer. You see, Near Automata is so much larger than many of the games on this list because, you know, it is like 50 gigabytes. Like, I'm rounding it up, but it's like 50 gigabytes. So what I'd have to do is I'd have to, for space, what I tried to do is I would try to uninstall all the games I would have, and then just play Nier Automata for that one only playthrough, and then just upload every single video that I can, and just mass delete a bunch of other videos, for space. Because, if I wanted, I'm not gonna do this, but if I wanted to have the absolute best um recording of Nier Automata that I could, it would take a bunch of gigabytes. Like, it would take a bunch of gigabytes. Uh, for example, I tried recording a video. I tried recording another video. It was of Hyperdimension Neptunia, and that was for 20 minutes. Right? That ended up being 2 gigabytes. You know what the average Katawa Shoujo video was? An average Katawa Shoujo video for like an hour to play was like half a gigabyte. So the fact that like 3D models could easily make it into 2 gigabytes for 20 minutes is tells me that basically what's going to happen is I'm going to have to be way more careful with games with 3D models. Now, it could just be that I don't know, for some reason Neptunia is just like that, or like there was so much movement or so many other things that like it really bumped up the size of it. But yeah. Anyways, anyways, it could also be that visual novels tend to be like, less uh less in size. That also could be the case. Honestly, like if I'm gonna be like forced to do that a lot, I might just like play only a few 3D games for this channel and have the rest of it be visual novels. So yeah. So series I want to play. Of course, Science Adventure. I'm starting that with Chaos Head Noah. Danganronpa. That'll probably be for later. Maybe like probably far after 2x2 gets released. Neptunia. I've already mentioned that. So the Elder Scrolls. The last slide I mentioned Skyrim. So like like Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, like those games. So yeah, I'm interested in playing the Elder Scrolls. Doom. If I were to start Doom, I'd probably start from the first one because I have that. So yeah, like the very very first one, the one that could run on anything. So Witcher. The Witcher series, actually, if I did start playing that, it would be completely blind. The same with Mass Effect, right? Both Witcher and Mass Effect, if I did start Let's Plays on those would be completely blind Let's Plays, which I think would be interesting. So yeah, again, I mentioned Necropara, Five Nights at Freddy's, Honey Pop, the Postal series, Half Life. Half Life would also be blind. Portal. Yeah, I tend to play Portal. So yeah, individual games I want to play. Me side, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. The reason I put that here is because this is one of my childhood games. Because I used to play it with my father and my siblings a lot. Okay, Undertale. Like Undertale. Blah, 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 blah. Deltarune. I don't know if I'll play Deltarune yet, but I'm gonna wait until all the chapters release. And yeah, Harvester. Harvester is a old game about the 19. Oh, what was it about the 1950s? Anyways, so yeah. And then I have no mouth and I must scream. So, I figure those would be interesting to like throw in randomly, probably as like October games. But yeah. So yeah, I guess I should talk about blind playthroughs. So basically, with Chaos Head Noah, that is going to be my first blind playthrough again of a game I've never played before. And if I do like blind playthroughs, uh, maybe even more than like games I've played before, like I might just like start doing blind playthroughs as a whole. And that depends on how I react to Chaos Head Noah and whatever blind playthrough I do next. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah. Okay, what do you suggest? Tell me a game that you would like to see me play in the comments. And this is basically just for like games that I didn't mention here. For example, uh, let's say Slay the Princess, right? Now, what was it? Was it called Slay the Princess? It was something. Anyways, uh, for example, Slay the Princess. I think Slay the Princess uh, would be a pretty good game to play. Uh, Maybe around Valentine's Day, that might be fun. But yeah, yeah. Uh, I also am thinking of playing some anime games, as in like I have both of the Data Live visual novels on Steam. However, I'm unsure if I'm unsure if anyone would actually want to see that. Plus, I'm not sure if I would want to see that because basically, currently, I watched all of the Data Live anime, and I am on volume 11 of the light novel for Date Alive. So there's that. And then there's the ReZero game that I have, the ReZero visual novel. And to tell you the truth, the last time I've read or watched anything from ReZero was Arc 4. So that was a while ago. Also, maybe I should catch up, but frankly, I found ReZero to be kind of mid, honestly. So yeah, uh, I'm not sure what else. So, well, thank you for watching. Yep. Yep. Exit the presentation. Yep. Well, 30 minutes of just talking. Wow. All right. Well, it's been Dean the Autist. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and have a nice time. Tell me what you think, and yeah. Well, goodbye. Have a nice day.